Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. With today's illustration, I was trying to go for something a little bit different, stylistically and method-wise. I wanted to go for something a little bit different. So I tried to go for a slightly sketchy feel, but also I ended up going with my Copic markers as well. So it's a little bit of a mixed media illustration, and I didn't really expect it to be so mixed media at the start, so I did end up using my expressive blending card instead of the mixed media card. I know, I'm silly. But anyways, the figure I'm drawing, she's like a... I know it's gonna look a little bit odd, but she's a crystal lady witch thing. And I know it kind of looks a little bit, shall I say suggestive, but I didn't really plan it to be a sort of thing like that. Basically, she's not human. She may have been human a very, very, very long time ago, but somehow she turned into a crystal lady witch thing. She lives deep down in the caves, and she kind of just protects her caves, and she wants to live alone. And obviously, you know, story gets out that she's down there, and there's all these precious crystals and stones and rocks, and people want to go down there and take them, obviously, because people are greedy. And yeah, she just protects her little lair. And yeah, I wanted to give a sort of slightly more comic style, I guess, except I don't know, a little bit more scary feel than my last few artworks. And I don't know, I struggled a fair bit with this one, because I wanted it to have like a sketchy look to it, but I don't know, it was a bit hard, especially once I got to the background. I don't know, it wasn't blending the way I wanted it to, and she was kind of not standing out as much as I wanted. And I know I didn't use multi-liner for this. I used the pencils, and that's probably why. But yeah, I wanted it sort of dark feeling and like glowy and like sketchy, and I don't know, I just kept going at it, and I guess I was rushing it a little bit, and I just wasn't happy with the feel. So what I ended up doing was that after I did part of the background around here, I just kind of put it down and, you know, left it for a day, that kind of thing. And the next day I came back to it, and I was like, you know, this isn't as bad as what I was making it out to be in my head. So I kept working at it, and I kept blending the background, and especially around her hands, I kept blending it, and it ended up coming up better than what I thought. And yeah, it just got me thinking that sometimes when you spend so long looking at an illustration and staring at it and like judging it yourself, you end up like making it out to be worse than what it actually is. And it's really good sometimes to just, you know, stop looking at it, you know, give your mind a bit of a break, and to like get it out of your mind, because when you come back into it, your mind's fresh, and then you take it in as if, you know, someone who hasn't seen it before, sort of, but, you know, you just get a different perspective. And I find that useful, actually, because, I don't know, when you start staring at something, you always pick out bits in here that you don't like, and you kind of make it out to be worse in your head than it actually is. But yeah, eventually the next time which I started drawing it, which is around now, I realized that there is a lot of blue and I wanted her to stand out a fair bit more. So I ended up adding a bit of purple in the shadows, and I ended up adding little bits of slight different colours here and there. And that kind of helped her stand out a little bit more. And I kept blending the background, and I ended up going over the glowy parts, you know, where her hands are glowing. Obviously she's like using her magic with a lot of colourless blender, and I made a lot. And that ended up making it a little bit better. And yeah, I'm sorry for the glare. I don't know, it's kind of hard to, especially if I use things like pencils, you get a bit of glare on the screen, and it's really hard, so I'm trying to figure out a way to fix that. I think I need the light in a slightly different angle, but we can ignore that for now. And at this point it did look better to me, but it still wasn't where I wanted it to be. Sometimes artworks just don't work out how you plan, and I ended up using a lot more pencil than I planned for this artwork. And I went into the background and added a lot of like a darker purple kind of crystals around in the corners and a bit at the top, as you can see. And that did add a bit more visual interest. I was pretty happy with that, but I still wanted the figure in the main part to stand out more. So what I did, I ended up going with some white acrylic paint, and I went around to add like sort of rim lighting, I guess. And to be honest, that part actually, to me, it saved the artwork. She kind of just, I don't know, she was more defined, I guess. She popped out a little bit, and yeah. And then I went around with the crystals, and because, you know, she's sort of glowing, I gave them a bit of a highlight to make them more shiny, I guess. I don't know. And that ended up improving it a whole lot more as well. Now, if you're interested, the reference I used for this image was actually part of a reference pack that I bought from the Jazza Studios website. So, bit of a shout out to Jazza there for, you know, supplying me with these awesome references. I did pay for them. This isn't sponsored or anything. I just wanted to say that they were super cool, and I want you guys to know that that's available if you want. And it also supports an awesome artist. And yeah, I ended up finishing this artwork, and I don't know, at first I don't know, it's very different, and I wasn't a fan of it to begin with, and I don't know, she's starting to grow on me a little bit. I think after a while I ended up liking her, and I don't know, I guess I have a different perspective now than when I was actually doing it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it has a different sort of attitude and feel to it, but make sure you hit like and subscribe. And if you're new to this channel, I do lots of speed paints and challenges and videos and that kind of thing, lots of arty stuff. So if you're interested, you can hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate it a lot, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye everyone.